Have you ever found it strange? Your life overall is not bad. You still have a job. You still have a place to live. You still have things that many people are struggling to obtain. But inside, there is a kind of emptiness that is very hard to name. It is not too painful. It is not too dramatic. It is just a quiet, lingering feeling that something is not right. And what makes it even harder is knowing that your life is not bad enough for you to feel justified in being sad. A lot of people get stuck right there. They do not dare say it out loud because they are afraid of being seen as ungrateful. They blame themselves before they even begin to understand themselves. But feeling unhappy even when life seems fine is not always a sign that you are weak or overly negative. Very often it is the result of psychological and neurological mechanisms quietly operating every day without anyone ever explaining them to you. Today we are going to go through the 6 real reasons behind that feeling. No vague talk, no shallow encouragement. These are reasons with a fairly clear foundation in psychology and neuroscience. And later on, I will talk about the final reason, the one that is more biological than emotional. It is the part most people overlook. If you like this kind of content, remember to subscribe and stay until the end, because the later part is what may help you see yourself more clearly. The first reason is that your brain gets used to good things too quickly. In psychology, this is called hedonic adaptation. Put simply, the things that once made you intensely happy eventually become normal. A new job, a higher salary, a new room, a goal you just achieved. At first it feels amazing, but after only a short time your brain treats it as the new default and the feeling of happiness fades very quickly. This is not just your personal experience. Researchers at Northwestern University once followed lottery winners and found that after about a year, their level of happiness had almost returned to where it was before. Not because they did not know how to appreciate what they had, but because the human brain is designed to adapt. The problem is that in modern life, the mechanism that once helped our ancestors survive now turns us into people who always feel like we still need just a little more. The second reason is that your brain naturally leans toward the negative. This is called negativity bias. One criticism can weigh on you all day while 10 compliments stay with you for only a few minutes. One small thing going wrong can overshadow an entire day that was otherwise perfectly fine. Brain imaging studies show that negative stimuli often trigger stronger responses than positive stimuli of the same intensity. In other words, your brain is not fair. It gives more importance to what worries you than to what calms you. Some studies even suggest that it takes around 5 positive experiences to offset the emotional impact of one negative experience of equal intensity. That is why there are days when you get a lot done when things are generally okay, but just one comment, one small mistake, or one vague worry suddenly darkens the whole day. If you have ever felt that way, comment number 8. Not to complain, but to remind yourself that you are not the only one living with a brain that automatically magnifies what is not okay. The third reason is that you keep placing happiness somewhere ahead of you. Psychologist Tal Ben-Shahar calls this the arrival fallacy. It is the illusion that once you reach a certain point, you will finally be okay. When you get that job, when you lose that weight, when you have that relationship, when you move to that place. We keep thinking that once we reach the next milestone, all the confusion inside us will disappear on its own. But reality usually does not work that way, because what you need is not necessarily the goal itself. What you may really need is a sense of safety, recognition, connection, freedom. And yet you lock all of those needs inside one future milestone. When you finally reach it, you realize that the box does not contain what you thought it would. The disappointment then does not come only from the goal. It comes from realizing that you placed your happiness in the wrong place. The fourth reason is that your life may not be lacking pleasure, but it may be lacking meaning. This is a very important point. Psychology often distinguishes between 2 kinds of feeling good. One is hedonic well-being, comfort, pleasure, entertainment, ease. The other is eudaimonic well-being, meaning growth contribution, the feeling that your life has value beyond temporary emotions. Modern life is very good at providing the first kind. Phones, short-form content, food shopping, convenience, all of it is easy to get. But the second kind is becoming increasingly rare. And that is why so many people feel that their lives are enough yet still empty. They are not lacking entertainment. They are lacking the feeling that the days they are living actually mean something. Research on life satisfaction also shows that people with a lot of pleasure but little meaning tend to feel emptier, while people with a clear sense of meaning tend to be more mentally resilient, even when their lives are not especially comfortable. In other words, there are some empty spaces that consumption cannot fill. The fifth reason is that you are living your life, but you are very rarely fully present in it. A famous Harvard study found that people spend nearly 47% of their waking time thinking about something other than what they are doing. That means nearly half of our conscious lives are spent in the past or the future. We eat, but our minds are on work. We talk to someone, but our minds are worried about tomorrow. We rest, but our minds are still running like machines. When this goes on long enough, something very strange happens. The good things in your life are still there, but you do not really receive them. Not because they disappeared, but because you were not there to experience them. Research also shows that simply having your phone on the table, even face down or with the screen off, reduces your level of presence and connection to the current moment. So, life may still look fine from the outside, but on the inside it starts to feel blurred, distant, and unreal. By this point, the picture may be getting clearer. You do not feel happy, not necessarily because your life is bad, but because your brain adapts too quickly to what is good. Because your brain remembers what is bad more strongly than what is good. Because you keep placing happiness in the future. Because you are living with more comfort than meaning. And because you are too rarely fully present in the moment. But there is still one final reason, and perhaps this is the most practical part of all. The sixth reason is prolonged baseline physiological stress. That means your body is in a state of mild but constant stress, even when your mind does not label it as stress. Emails, notifications, financial pressure, comparing yourself to others. Information overload. These are not literal survival threats, but your nervous system cannot fully tell the difference. It still reacts as if there is danger that must be monitored. And when that happens every day, the feeling of "I just cannot really feel happy" begins to arise from your physiology, not only from your thoughts. Based on what Andrew Huberman at Stanford has explained, when the nervous system stays activated at a baseline level for too long, the chemical environment in the brain is also affected. Substances related to pleasure, motivation, and balance, such as serotonin and dopamine, no longer remain in an optimal state. Put more simply, your life circumstances may be okay, but your nervous system is not. And that is why many people can have a fairly good life on the outside, yet still feel flat, numb, tired, and unable to genuinely enjoy anything inside. If you have read this far and realize you have been in that state for quite a long time, comment number 9. The good news is that this part can start to improve through very small actions. You do not need to change your whole life in one day. You just need to choose one way to regulate your nervous system and do it consistently. It could be 5 minutes of slow breathing, with the exhale twice as long as the inhale. It could be 60 seconds of cold water at the end of your shower. It could be 10 minutes of movement intense enough to raise your heart rate, or 20 minutes of real rest with no screen and no extra information going into your mind. These things sound simple, but for an overloaded nervous system, they are not small at all. They are basic maintenance. So if you are living with the feeling that "my life is not bad, but I still do not feel okay," please do not rush to conclude that you are ungrateful or that something is wrong with you. You may simply be trapped in the same mechanisms that so many modern people are trapped in. Once you understand the real causes, you will blame yourself less. And only when you blame yourself less can you begin to truly fix it. Thank you for staying until the end. If this video speaks to what you are going through, please hit like and subscribe so I can keep making this kind of content for you.